State of emergency is still in effect. Residents in Adams Cove and surrounding communities are devastated after a wildfire last evening burned through several homes. NTV's Ryan Harding is in the nearby community of Blackhead, where he's been covering this developing story since last night, and he joins us live now with the latest. Ryan?
Hi, Michael. Yes, thank you very much. Last night we rolled in, and around 6 p.m. you could still see the smoke as far as Salmon Cove. And once you got into the Blackhead community, that's when you could see the flames, and you really got the sense of how large this fire was and how quickly moving this fire was. Just standing to the left of me off of Peninsula, we watched in real time those flames move across, making its way to the coast. And just knowing that in the valley underneath, where all those residential areas were, and that's where that fire had been before. Now, this morning when we arrived to the scene, the RCMP blockade was moved back a little bit as things were more so controlled compared to last night. And I got my first glimpse of Adams Cove proper, and you could really see what used to be green space replaced with scorched ground. Now, we were talking to the firefighters who worked all throughout the night by foot, and they said to me it was a long night, and they were happy to see the sunrise because that meant the water bombers could get off the ground and back into the air a little later than anticipated because of that low-hanging fog, which you're seeing roll in through once more. So as those water bombers come through every few minutes, you'll see just how low to the ground they are because of that fog. Now, you mentioned the weather, Michael. Well, it's a little more humid and a little more cool, so a little more moisture in the air, and those cooler temperatures are helping with that spread today, thankfully. And they mentioned the good news is no injuries with this, but unfortunately there's about 30 structures affected by this fire. And I'm told this morning by firefighters that is 15 homes and 15 sheds. Now, speaking with the residents throughout last night and today, you really got the sense of the uncertainty and just how quick that fire approached and how quickly they had to evacuate, mentioning didn't have time to grab any of our things, close the door, and unsure if there was going to be a door to return to. And that uncertainty remains today as the real information of which houses and which structures were affected hasn't really trickled through the community. Although last night, community members and some people from St. John's, as there are some summer homes here, gathered around that RCMP blockade. And every now and then a word did trickle through of certain structures that had not made it through the fire. And you got to watch in real time some people learn that a lot of their belongings were lost, and that was tough, and that's felt through the community here today as everyone has gathered in Small Point Community Center to rally together, help those firefighters in the form of bottled water, breakfast sandwiches, and just be with each other through these uncertain times. As we've even seen some families split as the area of Blackhead Wharf Road Loop to Western Bay is blocked off by RCMP as those crews remain battling the fires. Some family members were caught on the other side of that and haven't been reunited yet through the overnight. So uncertainty, the key here today, but rallying together, that second point as well. But again, managed to speak to some residents who described the evacuation and described those flames. So let's take a look.
One up from that gone. It was 8 on our road, on Baggs Road, gone. That's between the houses and the garages and that, gone. Next door neighbour across the road, he's lost everything. And other than that, man, I never see nothing. I never want to see nothing like it again. Last night, I never slept. Every time you close your eyes, you can see a house burn or something like that. A house fire, just ordinary fire. But this was the gates of hell, buddy, opening up. It was.
And you mentioned in there the heat.
Oh, the heat. You could feel your face. It's just, I had to put up my hood and tie it around me for the hair on your head would get, eh? That's how much heat was down there. And the firefighters there, I can't say how much. They done their best. They saved my house and the ones out from that. But they couldn't do nothing because they couldn't get at it because everything. They had to move the fire trucks. They've come right up beside the fire trucks. They had to move them. Oh, what a mess.
So where we are right now is some homes behind me to the right. Those are the latest who have been evacuated. Precautionary reasons as we go in today. It's some grass fires still being battled in Gusset's Cove areas, to my understanding. As this all unfolds, we'll continue to bring you the latest and bring you the community side of things as well, and talk to more members of the Adams Cove and surrounding area and take you from last night into this morning and the remainder of today as well. Michael?
Thank you very much. That's NTV's Ryan Harding reporting live from Blackhead. NTV's Mary Kate O'Neill is also on the ground there, and we're going to be checking back in with her in just a few moments. We have more on our top story now. Many people have been affected by the wildfire and state of emergency in the Adams Cove area. We're going to go back to Blackhead, where NTV's Mary Kate O'Neill is standing by live. Mary Kate?
Hi, Michael. There are so many emotions felt in the Adams Cove area today. And as Ryan mentioned, firefighters and emergency personnel worked through the night to battle this blaze. But they weren't the only people that didn't get any sleep. Residents here worrying if their homes were still standing. And a resident here of Blackhead joins me now, Jerry Rogers. Jerry, thank you so much for joining me today. My understanding was you were evacuated this morning?
Yes, and we had been in Carbonear yesterday afternoon and for a swim, and then we're driving back and saw the flames first starting. And it was amazing, Mary Kate, how fast that happened. So fast. And you know, we haven't had hardly any snow this year, hardly any snow the previous year, and very little rain so far this spring. And the earth is just so dry. And I think, you know, this is a part of the climate crisis. And I know in the past few years, watching California burn, watching Portugal burn, and we would think, gee, we are so lucky here. But I don't think any of us are really immune to what's happening to the planet. And I think that's what we're seeing now, because that fire was so fast and the earth is so dry.
It was so quick, and that's what the residents had to say, how it just spread so quickly. But Jerry, you can't really see it now with the fog, but your house is just behind us here. How does it feel to be standing here, but knowing you can't go just a couple of feet to your home?
Yeah, well, you know, it's very strange because the fire was yesterday and all last night. The winds were really strong, and it was pushing the fire north, and so it looked like we were fine. And overnight, and of course we kept vigil all night, overnight it started to creep along the coast in the grasslands, and there's a lot of trees around our house, and it started creeping, and then it started faster and faster. And what happens, of course, is the fabulous heroes, the firefighters, and a lot of them are volunteer firefighters, but the firefighters came from all over the region. At night, they couldn't do much. And also the water bombers, which we desperately needed, couldn't fly at night because they can't see. And so the water bombers were going to be here at 6 in the morning. The fog was too thick. It's lifted a bit, but now, as you can see, it's really foggy, so I don't know what's going to happen. There's been one water bomber, possibly two, almost every 4 minutes. There's a water bomber coming. And what has happened with our house, and it's a brand new house, and it's so eco-friendly. We built a passive house, and we didn't cut down a single tree in order to build our house. We were very, very aware of the environment, and now the trees are one of the dangers. It's kind of ironic. It's also ironic that here we are just surrounded by water, and yet we're so dry, and the earth is scorched in this area. But we're a small community. You know, there's 4 tiny towns that have amalgamated, and it's Small Point, Broad Cove, Blackhead, Adams Cove. And I made up a motto for our town. I say it's the smallest town with the longest name and the biggest heart. And that we're seeing that right now. The people are so good. They're just taking care of each other. The volunteer fire departments, who, by the way, don't have enough gear to protect them while they're doing this work, which is so important. And so we're going to have to scramble and make sure that our firefighters are well protected. But people are being really good to each other. They're taking each other in. People are being well fed, and the firefighters are as well. The RCMP have been great. It has been a little bit difficult to get information about what's happening, and of course, because things are changing so quickly, that's one of the problems. But you know, we built that house a little over a year ago, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, and we have a lot of seniors in our community, and some of them have lost their homes, and it's really it's heartbreaking. But, you know, I think what's going to happen is that people are going to pull together, and they are pulling together to really help one another.
Jerry, and you talked about it a little bit there, a lot about it, just so much support. And you said it's the tiny towns with so much heart. And like you said, you were just at the community center there where people are coming together. Tell me how much support is here right now for this town.
Yeah, well, there's people that are calling me and emailing me saying, "What can we do?" Or "We have a house down the shore," or "We have a house up the shore." You know, if anybody needs a place to stay, people are offering money. They're offering food. I think Dominion and Powell's, the two local grocery stores in Carbonear, are coming with truckloads of personal items and food and drink. But people are just there helping each other. Just, that's what they do. I mean, that's what we do in Newfoundland and Labrador, because we know, on this godforsaken rock and in Labrador, we know that in order to survive here, we have to take care of each other. And that's what we're seeing. And, I was up all night back and forth with the RCMP and with the firefighters, and I said, you guys must be exhausted, and they're not going to complain, right? They say, we're okay, and they were all night, and they're still at it. Here we are at midday, and they're still at it. They're heroes. And the water bombers, we had hoped. The water bombers is what's saving our properties right now. And my house is just over this hill, and we had went out on our ATV over the hill last night in the middle of the night, and we could see the fire progressing.
Wow.
And it was frightening, again, because it's so fast. And all it has to do is creep into a grove of trees, and then they just go up like a pillar. So, but I mean, here we are, and here the water bomber, and it's different fighting a fire here because there's no hydrants.
Right.
The trucks have to go to the pond, they have to fill up, they come, they unload their water, they have to go back to the pond, fill up the pumper trucks. So it's a different way to fight a fire here too.
It sure is. Well, Jerry, thank you so much for your time, and we'll be watching your home here today. And we'll have more information here from Blackhead, Adams Cove, and surrounding communities coming up at 5:30 on First Edition and 6 o'clock on the NTV Evening News Hour. Michael?
Thank you very much, Mary Kate. That's NTV's Mary Kate O'Neill reporting live from Blackhead this afternoon.